Hello, dear friends. I'm not a sensationalist, but current events are becoming sensational. Opinion piece, days of thunder, social tensions, people's discontent. Will it start in Ireland? First anti-establishment president. Judicial harassment against Trump. Structures under the Great Pyramid. Let's start. The term days of thunder is used metaphorically to describe moments of great impact or periods of great tension, conflict or turmoil. It refers to the perception that Donald Trump's second presidential term would be marked by decisions and actions that generate a climate of uncertainty and confrontation, similar to a storm announced by thunder. The days of thunder mark the beginning of the third founding of the original American Republic, according to a special report by Sister Ciara from Dublin, Ireland. These days of storm, beginning next week, are going to be incredibly intense. I think they will be 10 to the power of 10 more intense than the shock we had in 2016-17. The strategy is different this time, said Steve Bannon. We have the power to start the world over again, said Thomas Paine at the beginning of the American Revolution. We, the people, are the rightful owners of Congress and the courts, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow men who perpet the Constitution, said President Abraham Lincoln. While no one can tell us what the Third American Republic will look like, it remains a fact that the Second Republic has ceased to exist, is being dismantled by President Trump, the last vestiges of which are evident in the wailing of the Democrats and their media. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said Sunday that the policies initiated by the Trump administration are designed to avoid a financial crisis that could result from significant government spending over the past few years, but cautioned that there are no guarantees that the recession won't occur. In quotes. According to Lorenzo C., social collapse could begin in Ireland. In his view, a collapse of authority is imminent, and the Irish people would be the first to show their teeth, as they appear to have been elected to accept imposed changes to their social structure. Reset. According to Benjamin Fulford, the entire system needs to be shut down and rebuilt from the ground up. This is what the coalition proposes. Start with the Jubilee, nationalize private central banks like the Fed, and create a future planning agency so that people can choose the future they want. Another thing that needs to be shut down and reset is the social matrix. All things stand now. It seems that the EU would be the first domino to fall in the West, and Japan the first to fall in the East. The US would come next. Ultimately, this should lead to the fall of global organizations and other instruments of control. Evaluating the stormy days unleashed by the president, the Wall Street Journal wrote this week, in quotes, "This period may seem extraordinary. The November election was a comeback for the ages, a return to power for a man who claims his opponent stole the presidency from him 4 years earlier. The Washington establishment's cultural and political elite is horrified by the large turnout of the inauguration. Anti-establishment to the core. Trump began firing federal employees left and right, justifying his actions with accusations of waste, fraud, abuse, and incompetence. But the truth is none of this is new. The US saw it all 200 years ago with Andrew Jackson. Close quotes. Congress opens each session with a prayer offered by a guest chaplain. Among the invited chaplains are rabbis, according to the history of more than 400 rabbis who have offered more than 600 prayers since the Civil War. This is the most esoteric part of American politics. Harassment. The days of thunder alleged by the president are now joined by the news. Since returning to the White House on January 20th, President Trump has faced an unprecedented avalanche of criticism. There are precedents for legal challenges by activist judges and groups determined to sabotage his second term in power, coordinating their efforts and wreaking havoc on the administration. According to Ethan White, partisan judges are waging all-out war against the president with 11 lawsuits against Trump in 53 days, all in an attempt to save the collapsing dark side. This judicial harassment is slowing their progress in halting the cabal's malpractices. Therefore, it would not be a surprise if their actions take longer than an impatient citizenry expects, and yet they will fail because Trump did not return to negotiate with evil. He returned to annihilate it. A barrage of lawsuits has been launched, designed to stall, derail, and overthrow the Trump administration. The globalist infrastructure is in free fall, so now, as last resort to halt the restoration, they have deployed a controlled and programmed judiciary to destroy it before it can dismantle them. This isn't a legal battle, but a full-scale insurrection from within the judiciary. The dark side knows it's over. The old systems are crumbling. The monetary bubble is imploding and its intelligent network is being dismantled. Dystopia. According to Fulford, this dystopian nightmare from which we are beginning to wake up was alleged directed by Barack Obama, who operated from the basement with an automatic pen to make people believe Biden was the president. Now, Trump says Biden's pardons are void because they were signed electronically. As German commentator Konstantin von Hofmeister writes, the West, in quotes, the West, lost in the labyrinth of its own technocratic nightmare, steers like a dying beast, mechanized and blinded by the ultimate ruin of Faustian civilization, where technology becomes an iron cage, trapping its creator in a world they no longer understand. The Western response to Ukraine is precisely that: drones, sanctions, media narratives manufactured in real time, and an illusion of omnipotence maintained by algorithms and artificial intelligence. But reality eludes them, as their intelligence have been reduced to an algorithmic process by G7 financial technocrats inventing $50 billion out of thin air, profiting from the interests of Russia's frozen assets. It is the final stage of Western decline. Economic manipulation replaces authentic production. The press stops reporting and instead dictates what to believe. The truth is irrelevant. Headlines are written before events occur. Close quotes. Conflicts. The real Trump has a civil conflict on his hands. A political group is marching in lockstep against him. In the most recent example, 49 Democratic congressmen posted nearly identical tweets about an impending government shutdown. The Democratic representatives are uniting to support a 4-week funding extension that would hold damaging cuts, keep the government open, and allow Congress to reach a bipartisan funding agreement. President Trump admits he's been to war before. He said last week, "I invaded Los Angeles. We opened the way for the water, and now the water flows. Now farmers will have water for their land, and the water is there. But I had to break in. We did it because there were people who were afraid to give water." In another sign of war, President Trump walked into the Justice Department on Friday and called his opponents scum, the judges corrupt, and the prosecutors who investigated him deranged. He called these political opponents lawbreakers and said the others should go to prison. The cartels are just another war. Colonel Douglas McGregor confirms that Mexican drug cartels have Javelin missile systems on the border that were being sent to Ukraine. They say the cartels control the Mexican government, so any war against them would mean overthrowing the executive branch, not to mention the three-letter agency that controls illicit trafficking. Finally, Trump needs to confront China. He is steadily preparing for it, as he plans to build metal refining plants on Pentagon military bases as part of his plan to boost domestic production of critical minerals and balance Chinese control over the sector, two senior administration officials told Reuters. Pyramids revealed. The revelation of the Giza pyramids will change the world. Recent scans from beneath the pyramids revealed gigantic structures that could not have been built by humans. Huge vertically aligned spiraling cylindrical structures were discovered, descending more than 600 meters from the base of the pyramid to the enormous structures below, according to Jay Anderson. New radar scans reveal an extensive network of megastructures beneath the second pyramid at Giza, including spiraling cylindrical formations that extend more than 600 meters deep. Among the findings are 8 enormous tubular shafts leading to 2 underground cubic chambers, fueling the theory that the pyramids housed an advanced energy system. Preliminary evidence suggests a highly complex underground infrastructure, according to the Shadow of Ethra. In recent years, the Scan Pyramids project has used advanced technologies such as tomography, infrared tomography, and 3D scans to investigate interior of pyramids without invasive excavation. These studies have revealed hidden chambers within the Great Pyramid, such as the so-called Great Boy, detected in 2017. The pyramids remain a marvel of ancient Egyptian human engineering, although many questions remain about their construction and purpose. According to Mike Adams, they have worked diligently to obscure the true history of humanity, which remains largely hidden from us. This history includes ancient technologies, and now recent research has revealed astonishingly large structures beneath the pyramids at Giza, which required massive underground engineering of extensive structures up to a depth of 2 kilometers. These structures have existed for thousands of years and are still standing. Their mere existence demands exotic material technology and advanced excavation techniques that must have existed millennia before our era. So, who put it there, and what was its purpose? The answer could be Tartary, ancient civilizations, and hidden technology. Near the base of the pyramid, 5 identical structures can be seen, connected by geometric pathways. Within each are 5 horizontal levels and a sloping roof. The entire structure stands approximately 2 kilometers below the surface and extends beneath the 3 pyramids of the Giza Plateau complex. Beneath these 5 structures are 8 cylindrical structures that resemble vertical shafts, hollow inside and surrounded by downward spirals. These 8 cylindrical structures, aligned vertically and arranged in 2 parallel rows from north to south, descend to a depth of 648 meters, where they merge into 2 large cubic structures approximately 80 meters on each side. The cylindrical shafts could be conduits of energy or sound waves, and the cubic structures could serve as energy storage or stabilization units, similar to the component of a large-scale weapon or generator. The detection of vibrations in the pyramid's internal structures reflects all these ideas. Nikola Tesla believed that the pyramids could tap into the Earth's natural frequencies. This possibly inspired his experiments with wireless power transmission and scalar waves. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.